Good morning, good morning, good morning. So today is November 4th, 2025, and I am going to be going over the chart from yesterday on Futures ES Futures from 11/3/25, so Monday's chart. And I'm going to be highlighting the key entry point zones that were given in the community today, or I'm sorry, on yesterday. The high key entry point was at 68.97, and then the low key entry point was at 68.50. Okay, so those key entry point zones are valid starting at 6 p.m. Or Eastern Standard Time. So let's see the entries that we would have gotten if you would have started trading at 6 p.m. So right here at about 8:30 p.m. we had a strong bullish candle break back through off the key entry point after we couldn't go higher. If you would have taken that entry at about 68.95, you could have rolled it down to, we'll say, about 68.75 before you start seeing those stems. So that's a 20-point drop. It would have taken a while. I mean, you would have had to go to sleep and then come up. You would have woke up to a nice win. All right. We usually don't start trading until the open. So here, this blue line here vertically is the 9:30 open. And if you wait for a key entry point trade entry, you could have gone on the break back in, pull back is what I like to call it. I actually took this trade. As I was watching it, we had this strong red candle break through. This candle started red, pulled all the way back green, and then hammered down red. So I took that as my pullback to the key entry point, and then I entered below here, and I actually recorded that. So that is going to be in another video. But if you took this as a break back in, then you had to pull back here. You could have entered, it actually made a second entry short as well. So you had a low, push up, low, push back up, and then break back down. So if you enter right here at about 68.94, you could have technically rolled it all the way down to the bottom key entry point. So about 68.69 for about 24 points. So that was a great trade. It wouldn't have taken you long. That trade would have triggered at about 9:37, and you would have been out in under 30 minutes. So about 25 minutes or so. All right, next trade is off of the key entry point low. We had, it tried to go lower, tried to go lower, tried to go lower. So if you took the low, higher low would have been the best entry. So after this strong green candle up, you could have entered at about 71 and rolled that up to about 80. So about 9 points if you had entered that way. This next entry is tricky. It actually made a breakdown below the key entry point, then it pulled back, then it did give you a strong candle. So if you would have went here, if you had a tight stop, you probably would have got stopped out here when it pulled back twice. So that was tricky. That is an entry that you might have taken and then lost. But it did make a second entry short here, and then if you put your stop, of course you had to put it back far enough again, because this stem could have actually wicked you out as well. So this one was tricky, but it did. That is a great second entry short. If I would have been still trading 69.50, and then I use usually a 2 to 3 point stop. So let's see, 71.50. So if I would have used 2 points, this then would have got me out. If I would have used 3 points, I would have been fine, but you didn't have any way of knowing. The safest place to would have put that was way back here. So that's like a 10-point stop, and I don't use that big of a stop. So you could have lost here, but if you had entered on this candle, which is the highest candle, that would have put you in at about 68, and then it dropped down into 68.50. So that's a 18 point move. Then we go back up to the key entry point for a break back in, and we had a clean break in, then you had a pull back on this red candle, and then a strong bullish candle back up. So if you go above that candle at about 68.72, you could have rolled that up to, let's see, how high did it go? If you had just gone before the pullback, about 68.78, so 6 to 7 points, which is a great win. And then the last entry here, we had this strong bullish candle off of the low key entry point. If you had gone, let's see, we'll say you get enter at about 73, and then if you ride that up, I'm gonna say you probably ride it up to here, which is 82. So you could have got about 9 to 10 points if you rode that up. You could have got more if you stayed back. I mean, if you stayed back and anticipated it going to the other side. It didn't quite make it to the top key entry point. Let me see, let me go all the way to the end of the, yeah, it didn't make it, but it did go another 10 points. So you could have technically gotten 20 points on that move. So that was the day with the high and low key entry point entries, some nice moves. Only one where it kind of played around a little bit, this one here, where you kind of tricky how you entered it. The second entry short would have worked with a big enough stop, which you only would have needed a 3-point stop, which is great. So yeah, that is how this day, Monday, played out with the key entry point entries. Hopefully you guys took some and had a great trading day. I surely did. Have a great day. Bye bye.